Welcome. Thank you all that are joining us. And again, welcome Jason, welcome Jacqueline, and of course, welcome Karen. We are so excited about this talk. And this is the first talk in the MinTech Lived Experiences series. We are going to be talking all things tech and people of color in tech for the next 4 weeks here in September. So super pumped about the first one, the making of a diversity recruiting firm and the clients who value them. And really, just to give you guys some additional insight into this series. Well, firstly, my name is Ashley Lawal, and I will be the moderator for this talk this afternoon. I am the editor of Urbanite, which is a local magazine here in Nashville, but I'm also a freelance marketer, and I actually work with Karen, have the pleasure of working with her to help in sharing all the good things about MinTech. And so this series was really one that Karen really had a vision for in regards to really sharing stories of people of color in tech. And so what better way to kick this series off is to really have Karen share her story and some of the clients who currently work with MinTech on a daily basis. And so we're super excited and we will go ahead and get started. Just a few things to note. If you have questions for the panelists, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box, and we will make sure to get to those questions towards the end of our talk. And just a few additional housekeeping notes. If you have not, please make sure to subscribe to MinTech. If you go to mintechagency.com, we have a monthly newsletter on all things tech, as well as obviously new jobs that are coming open. So if you are looking to get into tech, or if you know someone that is looking for an opportunity, feel free to connect with us. But we also talk about just the industry as a whole. So make sure to subscribe, and you can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and Instagram at MinTech Agency. So thank you guys again. And yeah, we will go ahead and get started. So today, firstly, just to start off, we'll save Miss Karen Williams for a little the last to share, but I wanted to start off with our first panelist. We have Jacqueline Dees, who is the Human Resources Manager at Dollar General. Jacqueline, did you want to go ahead and say a few words just to kind of introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Ashley. And Karen, thanks for having me on today. It's an honor. Yes, so Jacqueline Dees, I've been with Dollar General for 9 years. I am currently an HR manager supporting our IT department and our marketing department in a generalist role. So everything from recruiting to compliance to employee relations, all the way until an employee is graduated to being just a customer.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Next, we have Jason Franks, and he is and I want to make sure I get this title right, Senior Director of Software Engineering at Centuri Health Solutions. Jason, did you want to say a few words, introduce
Sure,
yourself, everybody?
sure. I've been with Centauri basically since we started about 5 years ago. Before that, I was with Cigna and Cigna Health Spring. And, throughout my career in IT, we've done a lot of contracting with different contracting companies. And we were introduced, I guess, Karen, it was a year or two ago to MinTech, and we've had a great relationship with them, and I'm glad to be here to talk about it. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, Jason. And then lastly, we have Karen Williams, who is the CEO and founder of MinTech Agency. Karen, did you want to share a little bit about all things MinTech?
Well, sure. MinTech Agency is a diversity tech recruiting company. And so we are actually located here in Nashville, Tennessee, building a brand here with Ashley and building client relationships with people like Jacqueline and Jason. And so we're just happy to be here to share our story and really get into why, working with a company like mine and building diverse workplaces is so important.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get started. And Karen, I will actually present the first question to you. And really, I guess if you can start by sharing what was the inspiration behind MinTech?
Well, the inspiration was definitely the cry out in corporate America that they were struggling to find minority talent. And so my husband is in software development, and I have a background in HR. And so I figured I've always wanted to do something in entrepreneurship. So I felt that would be a great place for me to utilize my skills. That I would go into trying to fill this void or fill this gap of talent for corporate America. And so we set out to create MinTech, which MinTech was short for minority tech. So MinTech Agency was born from that, and we're just really trying to do the work. And because I will be honest, it took me getting into it to see that there is a true struggle with finding the right person for the job when you focus strictly on a diversity. So I'm happy to be here to share this story to kind of really bring light to that. And thank you.
Yeah, no, very good. And I was going to say, Jacqueline or Jason, feel free to chime in on this one, but why was it important, or what was kind of the guiding light that allowed you or wanted you to work with MinTech in regards to helping to cultivate your workforce?
I'm happy to go first, and I know Jason will have some things to say too, but at Dollar General, one of our core values is actually respecting the dignity and differences of others. We recently held our second annual Supplier and Diversity Innovation Summit. And what that is it gives an opportunity for companies with certain diversity certificates, such as women's owned, minority owned, veteran owned, to get their product into Dollar General. And we know that being part of a diverse community is key to our success. But it's also true when we're hiring. So partnering with people like Karen at MinTech, who specialize in bringing diverse talent to the forefront of the hiring process, we know it's a vital part of our business strategy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And yeah, I think the way we were introduced to MinTech was through our CTO, I believe, Michelle Miller met Karen. I believe it was at a conference. And she came back talking about this initiative, and it was something that I had, and something especially recently with the climate in the country and everything that's happening that you never really think about. I've interviewed a lot of people in this industry, and I've been in the Nashville technology industry for over 20 years. And working with a lot of people, and it's something you just don't think about as far as the lack of diversity is there until you focus on it. And then once we started focusing on that, and Centauri is very big in giving back to the community. So this was right down our alley of something, hey, we want to do this. We want to help those that may not have the opportunity and give them that, because I know it can be very hard in the IT industry to get your foot in the door, because if you don't have experience, even with a degree, a lot of times it's very hard to get your foot in the door. So it was something that once we started looking at that, focusing that, we saw, like Karen said, once she got into it, the need that's there. So that's primarily the reason we wanted to give back and help those get their foot in the door and start building a career they can be prosperous in. So.
That's awesome.
I want to piggyback on that and just say that the relationship that I built with Michelle in the beginning was for entry-level talent. So I met her at NSS, or National Software School. I was speaking on a panel, and she was, very interested in being able to be that stepping stone for people that are really trying to get into tech, that shows great potential, but just wasn't given the opportunity. So they have been such a great partner in that aspect. So I want to thank them for that.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say, actually piggybacking off of Jason, in regards to seeing a need, Karen, I know one of the things that you shared before and kind of what makes MinTech different is actually how you even go about finding candidates, because a lot of times traditional ways, you may miss really, really great candidates. And like Jason mentioned, sometimes it's getting that initial step. So can you talk about, I know work with HBCU and just other organizations in regards to helping to find, really cool talent?
Well, yeah, I definitely think, there are some really great HBCUs out there that I think everybody goes to, and I'm super proud of those colleges. But there are a lot of colleges that I was not even aware of that are HBCUs that companies probably aren't going to recruit from those companies. And so being able to have a relationship with those people, and I think the biggest thing that I found to be valuable are those small niche groups. Like there's a Black code group here in Nashville, there are Black code groups in Atlanta. And if you aren't plugged in and know someone, just a normal HR person wouldn't be in those groups, right? It would take for you to, maybe like my husband, be someone that's in software development or someone that they feel comfortable with allowing in. And so I think that really plays a big part too, being able to connect with those groups. So being very intentional on where we find people is really important to us.
Yeah, definitely. I think intentionality across the board right now is a word that I hear a lot, and it's cool to see more organizations taking on that approach. That kind of leads me to another question for you, Karen. Especially in this season, how important do you feel diverse representation in tech is right now? You started before a lot of things that happened this year. What would you say, or how do you feel right now in regards to that?
I think it's just as important, and both of my clients that are here today were clients pre the racial climate that's going on now. They saw value in what we were doing way before this happened, which I really appreciate. But definitely, I think it's important because we have to have representation. People go to work and they work hard for a company if they feel like they can obtain the things that they see. So if I go to work and the C-suite or the D-suite or everyone, no one looks like me, I feel like there's not something that I can obtain. Some people may feel like that. And so that you may not get the most out of them if they feel like, well, I'm only going to be here for a short amount of time and I'm going to have to go somewhere else. People will stay with a company if they feel like there's growth, if they're being developed, if they have like mentors. It takes more than just bringing in diverse talent to be able to keep them and promote them and cultivate them to like just be with the company. So I think that is extremely important. We have to do the work now because in the next couple of years, everything's going to be tech. As we see every day, there's new announcements about, how the restaurant industry is changing with technology, how the car industry is changing with technology. Someone's going to have to maintain that infrastructure, right? Mm-hmm. And so if we don't bring the people up that are here, we will constantly have to go outside of our place to find workers. And so instead, we need to really focus on the people that are here that are interested in doing the work.
Yeah, definitely. And you talk about people being interested in doing the work. And so I know sometimes tech roles can be somewhat intimidating, or people aren't sure that they can in some ways pursue it. This question is actually going back to Jason and Jacqueline. Could you share, for those that are maybe out there that are in tech, maybe looking to change roles or maybe looking to get into tech, what are some attributes outside of those kind of traditional technical skills do you also look for? Because at the end of the day, it's about fit, it's about culture, it's about all of those things. Can you share a little bit into that?
Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Yes. First and foremost, we're always looking for someone who is not just looking for a job, they're looking for a career, to be part of the Dollar General family. We're looking for someone who's going to stay here for many, many years and really be part of who we are as Dollar General. So if they can display that they work well as a team, that they can demonstrate integrity, that they can display as commitment to excellence. Do they want to do well in everything they do? And then, of course, celebrating the success and contributions of other teammates as well. That's what really makes you fit well at Dollar General. So outside the IT skills, that's what we would be looking for.
Yeah, and ours, you know, I agree with everything Jacqueline said. You know, a lot of what I look for in a person, and MinTech has provided. I think we've only, you know, had one or two that really wasn't there to do it, but over all of our all the relationships that we've had through MinTech, you know, we've had a very positive return, and what we look for there is. Um, the ability to solve problems. In IT, it's all about not what you really know. Of course, that's a big part of it, but it's not about, okay, if I give you this problem, you know how to fix it. I want somebody that can go figure out how to fix it. So, you know, being able to take that initiative, not having to have somebody there on your back saying, go do this, go do this, go do this. I need somebody that can, even if they don't have a clue, if it's a brand new to the industry, or if they're brand new out of college, or if they're trying to change careers, you come in and be willing to learn, be a sponge. We've got several rock stars that they've put with us that, you know, I always call carrying them like, hey, give me another Walter. That's one of our great success stories, because he just did. He came in, hit the ground running, and he's still a sponge. He's wanting to learn and understand things. And if he doesn't know how to do it, he will go figure it out. I always joke that, you know, I could write a book on how to build a career with Google, because, you know, that is today, there's so much information out there and so many ways to do so many different things that they're really, when you're doing development, when you're doing any type of IT work, the different people you talk to will have the different right way to do it. So there's not really a right or wrong way to do a lot of things. There's a better way and there's not so good way. But storing all that information in your brain is near impossible. So, you know, being able to figure out how to make something work, going out and figuring out the best way to do it, that's really what we look for outside of the tech knowledge, as well as, you know, the fit. We're a very fun-loving a team where we feel like a family. Of course, we started just 5 years ago, and our company has exploded, but you know, we still have that family feel. We want somebody that can come in, joke around with us, and not and not feel you know, out of place or anything like that. So it's all about the fit as well. So outside of the technical aspect, I think those are the two real things that I look for.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to say, I love though what you said, Jason, about how to build your career via Google, because it seems like Google, you can learn so much. And if you, like you said, are seeking out that information, that is so true. So I love that. And I was going to say, Karen, I know he mentioned Walter, and he was actually one of our stories that we shared on the MinTech blog. But you have so many really cool, you know, success stories in regards to how people started and, you know, how they were able to kind of continue to grow within their career. And I know you always say that tech can truly change your life, your family, and your community. So would you be able to share maybe one of those stories with the attendees today? Because there's a couple I can think of, but
Well, yeah, I would definitely say a lot of our success stories were like straight out of either school or they went to a boot camp. I have a young lady that went to Vanderbilt boot camp. I met her at their demo night, and a position came open at Centauri, and I reached out to her. She went through the interview process, and she got the job. We did contract to hire, and she actually just went full time with Centauri. So she's extremely excited. I'm happy for her. That's what brings me joy, to be able to help someone to obtain something that maybe they didn't think they could, or didn't think they had the well, not even that. It's just really getting a chance, because everybody is looking for senior level talent. Everybody. I have a board full of stuff that I'm trying to fill, and they're all senior level, mid-level. You know, people really aren't looking for junior level talent. So that's why when I met Michelle and she wanted to do that, that was so great, because But for us to have senior level talent and mid-level talent in 5 years, someone has to take these people that are coming out of school and really giving them a chance. And not just the top 10 schools that we hear. We got to go to some schools that, people aren't talking about, because there's hidden jewels there too. They just probably couldn't afford to go to another school, or they wanted to stay near home. A parent could have been sick. It's just so many things that could have happened that causes someone to stay in another area or not go to one of those, big name schools. And a lot of talent gets left out. And so then I had a young lady that went to Austin P and had a bachelor's degree in computer science. But she was working at Walmart, and I couldn't get her placed anywhere because she had worked outside of tech for so long. Then somebody would have had to kind of reteach her. And so people like that get left, behind with, a degree in software development, but not really being able to fulfill that. And just imagine what her life would be like if she could get an entry-level job as, a software developer, or, whatever, for just to get her feet wet. I just think about stuff like that. So that's what really drives me, being able to help people like that, or people that just want to, get to that senior level, but they've been stuck at a company that really isn't growing. Because we get comfortable, we get complacent, and we've been at a company for so long. And we don't want to move because we're afraid. COVID is making it extremely hard because, one, people don't want to change jobs. Two, people do not want to relocate. And so those are two big things that are really, I'm sure, affecting other people that are looking, HR people, as well as us, because COVID has really put a damper on kind of hiring unless you're doing remote work. If you're not really up for remote work, people aren't really looking to leave jobs and start over. So.
Got you. And yeah, I guess that goes into another question, because we are in the midst of a pandemic, and a lot of people are working from home. For those that are actually seeking, opportunity and seeking ways to connect with organizations, especially now that they can be from home or they can be remote. And I'll pose this to everyone on the panel. Are there any tips or suggestions that you would provide? Because it is definitely a different environment, but as we see, MinTech is still getting new jobs, and there's still clients that are looking. So do you have any suggestions for those that are on the call that may be looking to actually make a move?
I think just once you get the job, just, being disciplined. That's the hardest part of working from home. And I'm sure anybody that's ever done it can attest to that, is setting the boundaries. Not only we really try to preach about, a lot of times working from home, it has the opposite effect on your work life, where you actually work more because your head's down working, and you look up and it's 10 o'clock at night and you're like, so we really try to preach, okay, have it in another room, especially because since we are a medical company, have medical PHI and that type of thing, we want to make sure it's secure, but also have it in another room where you can walk away from it. You can leave it. And, at 4 or 5 o'clock, whenever quitting time is, leave. And same way with the weekends. We really don't want people to work the weekends unless there's something going on, like, that they have to. Just being able to still have that separation of work-life balance is very important to working from home.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I would say, for those of you that are looking for a role, looking for a job, just be flexible. I know that this is such a weird time to change jobs. You might come to a new job and have never met your boss in person, and you didn't know your boss was 6 feet tall because all you saw was this for the last 6 months. So I would just say be flexible. When you're out there looking, be upfront with what is going on at home. Maybe you have kids at home, and so that needs to be upfront, where, hey, I might have my 3-year-old running in and out of camera. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. To really be able to just communicate your needs up front as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Karen, did you want to add anything?
I think they covered it. That's great.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, we are actually, getting to the end of kind of our initial round of questions. And so we can kind of see if anyone had any additional questions in our Q&A. One question for those that are seeking, Karen, can you kind of share what the process would look like if they were interested in applying for a MinTech opportunity?
Yes, they would go to mintechagency.com and they would go to our tech careers tab, and all of our roles are there. So even though there's a pandemic, we're extremely busy, and we've picked on more clients in the last few weeks, and so it's just getting more busy, if that's right. And so I would say just to check there because we'll be adding things, daily. So we keep getting jobs, but we just need to be able to, get those people that fit those roles. I think that's the most important piece is finding the people that fit those roles. And so I would say to anyone that is actually working, one of my tips, I was on a podcast recently and they asked like, what is your tip for people? And I think it's to continuously be learning, because if your role has a certification, you should get the certification. Even if you're in the job, you should still be learning because there's always new tools, there are new ways to do something. And so if your job says, hey, we're going to switch over to whatever this new tool is, and you've already been learning it, you can kind of raise your hand to see if you can take lead, of their role. So I say keep learning, because that's the biggest thing I find is people get on their jobs, but they don't learn the next tool or the new tool. And so the company that you're trying to go to, or the company that I'm trying to recruit you to, they're already on to the next new thing, and you're still kind of on, whatever the thing was that you used at your company. So I think it's important to keep learning, keep filling yourself with, knowledge about, whatever you're trying to do. So if you want to be a manager or director, or you want to be a senior software engineer, what do you need to learn? What do you need to fill yourself with to be able to go in and demonstrate that and show how you bring value to a company? So I think that's where people lose it. They get in the job and they think, oh, I've been a software developer for 5 years, so I'm senior. But if you don't know the tools and the information, go ahead, Jason.
Well, and to piggyback off of that, the best way to do that is to go look at job listings in other companies and look at their requirements and say, do I stack up? If I don't, what do I need to learn? Because if it's saying you need C# and .NET but all of a sudden it says you need Angular or you also need to have Java or something like that. If you don't know those, that may kick you out of the job. We try, especially we've hired I think one or two more senior people from MinTech, but most of ours have been the junior, because we want to help help bring people up and help them learn what they want to learn. So that's what I would suggest is there's two things when you're looking for a job. Look at the position that you're wanting out there, like I said, and if anything's missing off of your resume that's on that job listing, that's what you need to be focusing on. The second is whenever you're interviewing, know as much about that company as possible. Do your research, because I hate it, and I haven't had this experience with MinTech, but I hate it whenever I interview somebody and they have no clue what Centauri is or what we do or anything about our company. So do your research before you go in, and always ask questions. So at the very end of most interviews, the interviewer will say, do you have any questions for us? And when you say, no, not really, that just shows that you don't have any interest in them. So those will be my tips on interviewing and to trying to get your foot in the door there. So
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say also, we actually have a few additional questions in our Q&A as we're kind of wrapping up, but one, which is a really good one, and it goes back to kind of preparation, but one of our attendees, Cyrus, he asked, do you feel that colleges and universities in Middle Tennessee are serving minority students well and providing opportunities for them to get tech degrees? So he mentioned like connecting them with internships and employers out of college. Is there anything you wish colleges and universities were doing more of to build up minority tech talent?
Well, I would say I know that the schools that I've dealt with have that aren't HBCUs. They do have like Black tech groups, or someone that deals with like the minorities, to make sure that they're getting those. And that's like Vanderbilt. I've dealt with Vanderbilt, and they have like someone that specifically works with their minorities to make sure they're getting these opportunities. And then a lot of colleges now are on Handshake. So Handshake is where companies can create accounts, and they can have virtual job fairs and all these different things, for employers to connect with their students. So I think, the schools have to do the work, and then also the companies have to do the work. But I think that I feel that there are opportunities. I've had teachers reach out to me, and I've come and I've talked to, the students about tech jobs and how, we can help them get opportunities. So, I mean, I don't want to lay the whole thing on the school and the teachers, but I mean, they do play a big part. So I think in what I've seen so far since I've been here in Nashville, yes. But I went to college so many years ago, and it was not for tech. So I would say my experience was not great, and I was a business student, and so I didn't get a lot of opportunities. No one was saying, "Hey, go to this internship, or you should apply for this internship." And I went to HBCU 20 years ago, but so I don't know how it's changed. I hope it's better, but yeah, that's my experience.
Got you. Yeah. All right. Did anyone want to answer that? Okay. All right. And so lastly, this actually is a question for you, Karen. One of the attendees wanted to know, how did you land your first client as a new business? And I know you guys kind of spoke to a little bit, but they wanted to kind of know, what did that look like? So how did you land your first client?
Well, actually, my first client after I came out of, so first I went through a boot camp at the Entrepreneur Center here in Nashville, a pre-flight that helps, startup businesses get started. And what happened was there was a post on LinkedIn where a staffing company forgot to edit out that their client was looking for a white male. And it just went crazy on LinkedIn. And so I just wrote a post and just gave my opinion on it. And I got 2 clients from it. So they were like, "Oh, we didn't, people don't know you exist." So you have to be able to show people you exist. And that means like this talking where people can see you, talking about your business, having other people share. So that post went like semi-viral, like thousands and thousands of people saw it, shared it. And so I actually got 2 clients from that. And then so for Dollar General, I just used LinkedIn, and I messaged the CEO, that was one of my things that was a very huge fear for me. It's just reaching out to people that I feel like I can't touch. And so one day I was like, "Hey, why not?" Reached out, told him what we did, love to be, a part of your team. And he connected me to Jacqueline, and we've been together ever since. And Michelle, I met her at a conference speaking. So it's just really about getting out of your comfort zone. Every last one of those were things that I was previously uncomfortable doing. And I stepped out, and, it brought on clients. So, and now, of course, I'm getting new clients now from speaking, and, just what's going on. People are now searching for diversity recruiters and things like that. So I've been blessed. I can say that. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, Karen, that's one thing. And just working with you, I love that you do things even when you're uncomfortable. You're very much a go-getter. And that's super important. And being a startup business owner and working so deeply in your business, but still being able, like you said, to kind of be uncomfortable to get those wins. That's one thing that I've been able to glean and appreciate, that you do that. So, and I forgot about the viral post. I remember when we kind of first talked about that.
I didn't hear about that. That's
yeah, that was early 2019 that happened. Oh, wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you ever want to see how much of a go-getter Karen is, forget to sign a timesheet. She'll come get you. So
sorry.
Sorry, I do it all the time, and I'm like, oh, get a note from Karen. I have to sign the timesheet.
Karen does not play, and I love it. That is so good. Yes. But okay, well, this was amazing. I think that was all the questions that we had for for today. And again, really just want to thank each and every one of you, Jason and Jacqueline, of course, for being a part. And, you know, as a part of this title, it was really, you know, the clients that value what MinTech is doing, and you guys truly embody that. And thank you again for just taking some time out of your day. Karen, as always, thank you for leading this amazing brand. It's super exciting to be a part of it. And we're excited for our upcoming talks. For all that have not signed up for our next talk, it is going to be next Wednesday. So all of our talks are every Wednesday at 12 in the month of September. And this will be our tech story. And we're actually going to be talking with tech professionals from around the country that are going to be sharing their experiences around how they landed their role in tech and kind of what that has been like, really trying to work their way up in the reins, and, you know, all those kind of different experiences that, you know, are somewhat unique for people of color in tech. And so we have people that are with Lockheed Martin and LinkedIn. And so you're going to be able to really get a look into what that looks like, especially within different companies and within different locations here in this country. So we're super excited about that. So make sure, if you have not registered, to go ahead and register for that. And again, make sure you follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. And we really hope to see you guys again next week, and wishing you a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you guys again.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks
Thank
for having me.
you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.